Hello and welcome. Welcome everyone to another Wednesday night. The Fundamentals to Gain Inner Peace with your host, Coach Menachem. And tonight we're gonna create some space so that we can unblend from our parts. So we've started talking about parts 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. A basic idea of IFS, understanding of every person. Different parts come up. We did some guided meditation to allow whatever parts that want to join us around the dining room table or around in a circle on the floor to see what's going on. And then there are some parts that are louder, some parts that are going to protect you. They won't allow you to really get to see other parts because it might be too painful, might be too hard. You don't want to go there. And we'll see, it's not you don't want to go there, it's more the protector. So to understand that many times we feel it's me, but tonight we'll create some space so we can look at it. It's a shot. Okay. So before we start, just to come into the room, how are you doing? You ever ask yourself, how am I doing? Any ups and downs? Looking forward to some simchas? Maybe not. Enjoying the people around you. Things are working out, things are not working out at work. Once in a while, you got to ask yourself, where am I? How am I feeling? So if you don't manage to do it during the day, at least let's do it now. Take the moment and be with yourself. And then you can see maybe some parts, thoughts come up that you don't like. All right, so let's do a short, deep breathing. You can really do anything that works for you. By now, you should know what you do when you want to relax. Take a deep breath into your stomach. Beautiful. Another one, and let it all out. Deep breath in and let it all out. And just feel what comes up. Just feel. Become aware of the 5 senses. Maybe there's a sound in the room. Just listen to it. You can touch whatever's next to you. Feel it. Become grounded. A smell. You can look at something. Whatever works. Just to come into the room. 5 senses are always in the moment. And then we turn inwards to see what's going on inside of me. What do I feel? What does my body feel? Deep breath in and out. Okay, beautiful. So here we are, creating space, unblending from our parts. So it's a good idea to think, what are those parts that come up? For some people, it's overachieving, inner critic, whatever part that comes up. We want to create space and observe to see it. So when we blend, we feel that that's me. And you might say, what do you mean it's not me? When I'm angry, when I feel angry, I'm angry. What do you mean it's not me? Sure, that's me. I'm angry. Or if I'm overwhelmed, then I'm overwhelmed. Exactly. So it really takes us over. And that's who I am. That's where I am now. So we're blended into it. Now, unblending is to be able to recognize that it's a part of us inside of us that's acting out. That's and we're able to step back and to be able to see what part of it, what's it trying to tell me. It's a part of me is very angry now. There is a part in me that's very angry, that's overwhelmed, that needs to be perfect. But it doesn't mean that you in general are perfect. You try, there's a part of you that makes sure you're always perfect for a reason. So if you can see that it's a part of you, and then you can step back and look at it, ask why, what's going on, talk to it, observe it. So that's how we unblend, becomes two parts. You can sit on one side of the table, the part could sit on the other side, and you can actually look at it, right? Maybe it's an anxious part that's worried, and you're making decisions from that part. That's when you're blended into it. But if you can look at it and say, hey, what's going on? And once we unblend, we can slowly get to a calm place. It's interesting because if I'm angry or if I'm nervous, how can I get to a calm place? It's a great question. But if I can look at it and talk to it, then eventually I can be on this side of the table and the anxious, nervous part could be on the other side. It might take some practice because, wait a second, if I'm not nervous, then I'm not nervous. But, we're discussing in a time that you do feel, let's say you do feel anxious, so you can slowly move back. Create that space and then slowly get the clarity. And then you can make decisions. Instead of the anxious part making decisions, you can make the decision. Say, what's going on, listen to it, and say, I hear you. And based on that, see what's right and what's wrong. And then you can eventually get to regulate your emotions. Once you listen to it, once you observe it, once you look at it, the emotion itself could say, oh, thank you for listening to me. So let's stop for a moment. If you want, you can share in the chat just ideas of what comes up, maybe something you thought about past few days. It could be a people pleaser. Could be perfectionism, judgment. So let's stop for a moment and just let's see what comes up. Something that comes up constantly. Anxiety, guilt, fear and terror, perfectionism, judgment. Beautiful. Just to see that part, it becomes like that's how I feel, and it's hard to say that it's only a part. I feel it. Restless, a lot to do. Amazing. Wow. Okay, very good. So now just be aware of that. And now we can ask, what is it trying to cover up? The part that is anxious, the part that's scared, the part that feels guilt. What's it trying to cover up? And you can before putting it on the side, you can ask what's going on. Tell me more. Tell me more. So people pleasing, for example, is covering up the idea that people feel, well, they're scared, they're going to feel rejected. They can't say no. Abandonment. they feel unworthy. So if I please the people around me and they're happy, then I will be good. Everything will be fine. Sometimes you keep yourself busy, maybe on social media, overeating. That could be suppressing pain, grief, anxiety. You don't want to feel it. You don't want to see the sadness. You don't want to see the pain. So you just keep busy. And then perfectionism, like we discussed, judgment is covering that part, that vulnerable part that fears failure, rejection, humiliation, all of those feelings. So you know what? Let's be perfect. Let's be busy just so that we don't have to go there. Okay, and eventually you can ask what happens if you let go. So we'll do that guided meditation and we'll see where it takes us. So we'll do a guided visualization. And let's see where it takes us. Allow things to come up. So here we go, just for a few minutes. Take a deep breath in, find a comfortable space, find a place where you can be for 10 minutes. And gently close your eyes or soften your gaze. Just let go. And begin by grounding, just being here in the moment. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale slowly through your mouth. Beautiful. Again, in through your nose. And release. Let your breath find the natural rhythm. You don't have to change anything, just breathing in and out. And feel whatever you feel. You might feel a little lightheaded, that's okay. Let it all go. Feel the chair you're sitting on, the ground, your feet are on. Beautiful. Now, going inwards, bring your attention inwards and imagine your awareness is like a soft light, gently scanning through your body, like a flashlight, slowly going to different parts, shining that light. Notice any sensations, thoughts, emotions, no judgment, just curiosity. Where am I? What am I feeling? And you can do a slow scan up and down to see what's coming up. Allow, just allow. There's no right or wrong. And now go into your awareness, into the awareness part of you that shows up, especially when you're stressed or you're in conflict. It could be a critical voice, maybe an anxious planner, could be a protector, or a part that feels overwhelmed. Don't overthink it. Just whatever arises. Just become aware of that feeling that comes up often. And where do you feel it? Where do you feel this part in your body? Notice the energy. Is it tight, heavy, restless, maybe light or sharp? Whatever comes up. And just observe, see it. And what does it want to tell you? What's the message it wants to tell you? What does it want you to know? Beautiful. Just be aware of whatever it is. See it, feel it, and listen to it. It might be quiet, and that's okay. Give it that space and permission if it wants to speak. And now gently imagine asking this part to take one small step back, not to go away, just to give you space to see it clearly. You can say, thank you for being here. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know you better. Could you please step back just a little bit so I can see you fully? I want to see you. And notice what happens. Any movement, any shift in the energy. Can you feel the space around it? And if it doesn't want to step back, that's okay. Let it know you're here to listen. You're not here to push it away. You just want to get to know it better. And just be aware of what it feels like. It might need a hug first. Just be there for it. And then you can ask again if you can slowly create that space, if you can move a little bit so I can see you. And now bring your attention to the space behind the part where you are. That steady part, that part that's calm, that part that's observing, and feel grounded. Feel yourself. And that's where the space is, where you can get some clarity, some compassion. No matter what emotion, what part comes up, whatever it wants to tell you, you can create that space. Look at it, get to know it better, and you're in a place of calm, in a place feeling grounded, so that you can have some compassion, to listen to it with compassion. And let's stay here for a few seconds and see what happens, any shifts. Keep on breathing. See if it's moving. Is it telling you something? Can you listen with compassion? And if you're listening to the recording, you can always pause just to stay and practice. And for now, let's take another deep breath in and slowly exhale. Bring your awareness back to the room. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Here we are. And let's just reflect, see what came up. You can share in the chat. What part came up for you? What's that part that comes up? Were you able to create some space? You and the part. Were you able to listen to it? Was it saying something? What did it want you to know? And then how did it feel to observe, to sit on the other side of the table, to create that space? What did it feel like? Okay, let's see. Wow, thank you for sharing. You felt more in control. Amazing. Beautiful. You weren't lost. I came face to face with a terrified younger self who was desperately screaming to be healed. And I felt scared, really scared, and then disassociated completely. Hmm. Deep breath in and out. Just compassion. Wow. Yeah, so disassociating is also a part which many times that's what's needed when it's very painful. But if you came face to face, that means you're ahead of the game. Not easy, but we need to find ways how we can listen to it in a way that you can be relaxed because many times we get scared. And this is part what we're discussing. I become very scared when I meet that part. But if I can look at that part with some space in between, so it doesn't have to be me, and I can listen to it and slowly hear what it brings up. But again, you never know what it could bring up. Sometimes it's heavy stuff. You need someone to hold your hands, find that therapist, find that friend, find somebody. But this is the idea, to be able to sit with all our parts. Not always easy. But thank you for sharing. Right. Sometimes it feels like one big part. Exactly. And that's why we're doing this exercise to see different parts come up. Different parts. I was relaxed, didn't care about anything. Every part was quiet. Amazing. That's an amazing awareness. Maybe that's the part that doesn't want you to go and find other parts. You can talk to that part, ask it what's going on. How are you? How you feeling? And it might say, shh, be quiet. I don't want to talk now. And that's fine. It's really no judgment. We're not trying to push anything, not trying to bring anything up. It's all fine. Just sit there, deep breath, and don't get distracted. Hopefully your phone is not there. People are not there. You can spend some time, and then slowly things come up, and all those parts can come up. I feel lighter. Mhm. A fear of being traumatized again. Okay, so that's your protector might say, don't go there. Don't think about that part. Don't let it come up. and say, tell me more. Why not? What are you scared? What's going to happen? You're going to fall apart. You're not going to be able to take it. So you just become aware of, and you say, thank you. Wow, it's really protecting you. You see how it really wants to take care of you. Doesn't want you to fall apart. And then you might say, you know, you don't tell me more. Thank you for sharing. And we're not discussing the healing part, but the healing part is really that, let me spend some time with with their inner child that wants to come out. But for today, you just want to be able to see the protector. So we create that space in between you and the protector. You create that space and you can look at it, listen to it, have a conversation, but it's you from a calm place listening to that anxiety. Tell me why are you so anxious? What are you trying to cover up? What's going to come up? So creating that space is important. Okay, I hate inner child. That's a part. Listen to it. Ask what's going on. Why? And it's important to have that compassion. Don't judge. Whatever it's going to say, I don't want you to push it away. You push it away, it's not going to want to share again. We're coming from a place where we're pushing away, and the protector is really pushing away a different part. We slowly want to get to a place where we can spend some time with all our parts. Not always comfortable. Not all the parts want to join. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, beautiful. Now just to reflect, how do you feel now? What feeling comes up now that you're able to spend a few minutes listening to that part? A few minutes creating that space. Do you feel a difference, a shift? Calm, control. Very good. Beautiful. Really nervous about having to tackle that inner child in order to heal. You don't have to tackle anything. No tackling, nothing. Sit and relax and allow. Take that blanket, that self-care. You deserve it. Take some time for yourself, some compassion. That's all. Take it easy. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank yourself. And hopefully you could find more time to have compassion, create some space, be aware of the thoughts that come up, become aware that it's just a thought, it's just a feeling, listen to it. And if you can create that space, see the thought, you can write it down. Sometimes it's easier to take a piece of paper, you can make a outline of a person, and then the spot where you feel it, just make a circle there and just look at it. That pit in the stomach, just make a circle, look at it, so that you have that space between you and the paper. And then you can bring in some compassion and you can listen to it. It might want to share, might not, but that's okay. So whatever works, whatever works. Let's try to find ways we can slowly. It's a form of disassociating, but it's not. You're not running away from it. It's just the opposite. You're creating a safe space to allow it in. That's really the goal. You're creating that safe space. You're the adult in the room. I know there's a lot of things, feelings that you might not want, but when you're ready, you can create that space, quiet place where you can take it easy a little bit, won't be distracted, and you can sit there You can journal and maybe some quiet music, breathing in and out and allowing all of these feelings to come in. So, no, it's really creating that space where you can get in touch. And yeah, if it gets too hard, that's okay. Go to something else and then come back. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank yourself for taking some time off for yourself, which we all deserve. Some self-care, being able to sit with yourself for a few minutes. And if you have any questions or just let me know where you are on the journey, you can send to coachmenachem@gmail.com. And for the recording is available to Menachem on menachembernfeld.com. Keep up the great work. It's not something that I do. Again, I do it with myself. I try, but it's something that you need to do with yourself or with the help of somebody. But it all boils down to our inner work, getting to know ourselves, being there for ourselves, no matter what comes up, just to allow without judgment. Have a good night, and I'll see you next week, Wednesday night. Enjoy.